Habits come in many forms, such as biting your nails, cracking your knuckles, or even picking at your split ends. Some habits, such as the 3 that are named, can be classified as innocent habits. But what people don't realize are the unhealthy habits they can't seem to break, such as drinking alcohol. My name is Michelle, and in this series of habits that affect a person's health, I'll be speaking about the habit of alcoholism and the parts of the body that suffer along with drinking. Alcohol can have an effect on many parts of the body, negative impacts. The 3 body parts that get the most impact of drinking alcohol are the brain, liver, and the heart. Starting with the brain, according to the American Addiction Center by Amanda Latieri, we have something called chemical messengers in our brain. When the chemical messengers get affected by alcohol, we tend to talk slower and move slower. This is located in the cerebellum. Second is the cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex controls our 5 senses, decision-making, and emotions. When the cerebral cortex gets affected by alcohol, it impairs our ability to make the right decisions, and it makes us angry for no reason or sad for no reason. It messes with our emotions pretty much. Another part is the medulla. The medulla controls our body temperature and breathing. This part of the brain is very important, and when you drink too much alcohol, this part can shut down and you can end up in a coma. Last is the hippocampus, and this controls our memory. This part of the brain can temporarily be damaged when one blacks out, but if you drink for a longer period of time, over years or months, this part of the brain can be permanently damaged and make it harder for one to learn in the future. There are 3 types of drinkers: occasional, moderate, and a heavy drinker. Even if you have become sober after drinking heavily for many years, the brain damage will not go away. People may know that alcohol can affect the brain, but most alcohol users don't understand the severity of the damage. At a certain point, this can be reversible and can be really detrimental to your health. Second is the liver. This is the only organ that is able to repair itself, but once this organ shuts down, it can lead to death. What alcohol does to your liver by Wendy Ines explains that there are 3 liver damages caused from excessive amount of alcohol in your system. The 3 are fatty liver, alcoholic hepatitis, and alcoholic cirrhosis. Fatty liver is the least serious out of the 3. This liver damage has no symptoms, and this is when fat builds up in liver cells, and it can be reversed by drinking less alcohol or just stop drinking altogether. But if you don't, then it can lead to alcoholic hepatitis. Alcoholic hepatitis is when the liver cells become inflamed and necrosis develops. This is when the cells that are left over end up dead, and the only healthy cells left end up as scar tissue. There are symptoms unlike fatty liver, and the symptoms are abdominal pain and fever. It can also be reversed, but if it's too late to reverse it, it can be very fatal. Alcoholic cirrhosis is the most dangerous of the 3. This is when blood vessels stiffen and the liver becomes distorted. When the liver becomes distorted, it starts to malfunction, and this causes other major body parts to malfunction. Although it may seem like your liver damage develops in this order, unfortunately that is not always the case, and you can go straight into alcoholic hepatitis or even alcoholic cirrhosis without even realizing it. Last is the heart. Alcoholic Cardiomyopathy in Your Health by Janet Barwell and Matthew Solon explain that the heart is where blood is pumped through vessels and controls the oxygen and nutrients in your body. Alcohol damage to the heart means that the pumping becomes less efficient. When the pumping becomes less efficient, then the heart expands and holds more than the capacity can take. The heart becomes thinner and bigger, causing malfunction in heart and in other areas as well. This process is called alcoholic cardiomyopathy. This usually occurs between heavy drinkers that have been drinking for 5 to 15 years. And to classify heavy drinkers, it's 7 drinks a week for women and 14 drinks a week for men. This is also treatable, but once it's too late, it can lead to death. The call to action for people who are drinking too much and can't seem to stop drinking, there are several ways to stop yourself aside from putting yourself in a rehab center. According to Harvard Health Publishing, Writing down the positives helps. Writing down the positives as in what can benefit you physically and mentally. Keep alcohol out of the house. That's a good way because you won't feel tempted to just walk a couple feet and pour yourself a drink. Keeping busy will keep you distracted, and investing in a new hobby is also a good idea to keep yourself busy. Support from loved ones, because people want you to do well and they want you around. They don't want you to end up sick and not here anymore. And the most important one is to stay motivated. Not all habits are healthy for you, and some are not recognized as a habit until too much damage is done to the body. Drinking too much alcohol too often can very much damage one's body and be severely detrimental to one's health. Next time you go out drinking with a group of friends, try to remember what you are putting in your body and how much of your life you are jeopardizing for a good time that ultimately won't turn out to be a good time for too long.